Michael, Apple and Adobe, much like the two of us, used to be friends. No, they used to, skip through the proverbial fields of Silicon Valley, supporting each other, coming out with software that made each other happy, but no more.
No more.
Steve Jobs recently put out a Dear John letter, I guess technically a Dear Shantanu letter since he's the CEO of Adobe now, saying, you know what, we're never using Flash on the iPod or the iPhone because it's a bloated piece of junk, which is Steve Jobs' opinion, not necessarily mine.
My opinion on that shirt is similar, but I would use different words. I just have to say.
Okay, we'll get into that later. What do you think? Not about my shirt, but about Flash. Is Steve Jobs right?
Okay, Steve Jobs is both possibly right and also wrong. Here's the thing about Flash is it's everywhere. So I was talking to Johnny Shih, the chairman of ASUS, and he, we were talking tablets and other devices. He's like, why? It seems odd to me that, Apple is taking this stance. Why wouldn't you put Flash on a device or put support for Flash on a device? Because, it's everywhere. All those annoying restaurant websites and please skip here or push this button if you want to skip. I mean, that's all Flash. So we see it every time we go to the web, and whether it's mobile or not. And so for practical purposes, it seems to me you want to be there. Now, the only company that can say, you know what, practical be damned, is probably Apple.
Yeah, I think on the technical side, Steve Jobs has got a point. Adobe has great incentive to sell Flash. It's part of their Creative Suite product, which they sell for hundreds upon hundreds, more than $1,000 actually. It's an important part of that. It's the reason people buy it. It's a key to Adobe's revenue. But they haven't had the right strategy for mobile with Flash. Almost a decade ago, they came out with Flash Lite, which was supposed to be their mobile product. And it ran on feature phones in Japan. Never caught on outside of there. For the smartphone era, they never came up with an elegant solution. With that said, I think Steve Jobs might be making a mistake going at it this way. Now the regulators are paying attention to Apple. It's never a good thing when the regulators
one thing is that Adobe has kind of sat on their hands or on their keyboards in keeping Flash up to date. I mean, that's probably, no one would argue except maybe Adobe about that. And maybe this will light a fire to get them to actually do something good. Because coming down the pike is HTML5, which is an open standard, which can do much of, at least in the mobile world, what Flash, is trying to do. And, HTML5, Apple certainly loves it, and Google supports it, and it could supplant a lot of Flash in the smartphone world, which is increasingly, as we know, the way things are headed.
HTML5 does some great stuff. If people want to take a look at what it can do, take a look at the Gmail app for mobile. That's built in HTML5. Google Voice also built in that. It's got some cool, animated moving around type stuff that you can't have with a regular website. What it's not so great at right now is video. All it sort of does is wrap around video and provide a nice cozy environment for having video embedded in a web page. For now, Flash has it free and clear as far as being a video standard on the web. But here's why I think Steve Jobs is really going after.
You've got some deep, dark theories here.
I've got a conspiracy theory. It's really about the fact that Apple is about to hit Adobe where it hurts. I think in September, Apple has to come out with an iPod Touch with a camera in it for shooting video. And once you've got that, you need an app for editing video. Right. Apple's got plenty of that on the Mac. They don't have it on Windows yet. If they come out with that, it's a direct body blow to Adobe. They've got to demonize them now to set the stage for doing that nastiness to them.
I'll tell you what that's like. Adobe is like the Frodo of Silicon Valley companies. It's kind of a furry hobbit. And what you're saying is that Apple wants to kill Frodo.
Duly noted. Hey, Google's slogan is "Don't be evil." Apple never promised that there would be no evil.
All right. Well, you might have to promise that you never wear that shirt again. So
only if you promise never to wear this watch. Other people see this. That's a nice pink LCD screen. But earlier when Hello Kitty called asking for her watch back, I didn't know what that was about. Now I see. You stole it.
That's TechMate.